Passagier, my
Ladies and gentlemen, in here, out there, around the world, welcome to the big show. I am your host, Jerk, and wow, what energy! You all are really excited for this one. Well, hold on to your horses. You know, I have to do a long, boring monologue first. How is everybody doing? Oh, it seems redundant to ask that because I can see a wide and growing wider smile spread across all your chubby cheeks like the Cheshire Cat. So maybe rather than pontificate and wax poetic about the weather or the news, maybe I should just stop pussyfooting around and get to today's guest. Fine, we will. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a big show welcome to the legendary tier German battle cruiser. Give it up for the one and only Schlieffen. Schlieffen, the shadow nerf to Ruprecht. Because why would you pay $36 million for Ruprecht when you can get Schlieffen for the exact same amount? Well, yes, Jerk, but I can play Ruprecht immediately. Okay, fine, but then how long will it take you to grind that 36 million silver again? The same 3 months it takes you to wait for the Schlieffen? Hold on. I feel like we're getting off topic, so let's try this again. Schlieffen, the answer to the question, what happens if you turn your Ruprecht amp up to 12? Well, before we get down to the nitty-gritty, let's get the commander and modules up on the big screen, but you already know who it is. It is Henry Ward J. Highward with Haruna Matata and Von Hippie all maxed out to their maximums. It's like, how much more black can it get? And the answer is none more black. Naturally, this is a full secondary build with the bonus gun accuracy from Hyde, and honestly, you can use something else, and I see some other CCs doing that, but I'm here to tell you, they're all crazy. Well, maybe not crazy, different boats for different folks and all that. But with this setup, you will get your secondaries out to a whopping 12.7 kilometers, and your gun's accurate enough to mostly hit where you aim. So first, these guns, you have 8 420s for smoking them if you got them. I will say they do seem to get knocked pretty easily, but I have yet to have one actually be destroyed, which is more than I can say for the torpedo tubes, which do seem to get broken fairly easily, but with 4 sets of 4, you got a square to spare. Beyond that, you've got those sweet secondaries. 40 of them. That's 8 more than the piddly 32 Ruprecht has. Well, surely this has to have some weaknesses, right? Yes. It's a bit sluggish in the turns. It has all these little flat areas where the secondaries are that can catch random shells, and it has a 25mm bow. Though let's be real, that is basically covered by a ginormous icebreaker. But its true weakness is HE spam thanks to the limited damage cons and smaller caliber AP really being able to arm just about anywhere. But since Legendary tier is primarily comprised of battleships and destroyers, well, sounds like a prime candidate for appearing stronger in the stats and battle impact. Kind of like how Colbert got buffed because most players can't make it work. Well, maybe Schlieffen will get nerfed because it's too good against bad players. Whee! Well, at least that will be months away as everyone is still in the middle of wading their way to the top. Oh god, is Jerk going to rant about Legendary tier again? Yes, I am, but if you stick around, I will show you some hate mail I got while using this ship. We all know Legendary tier was brought in as a half-baked idea. Still, half-baked is better than the raw dough and ingredients that the Steel Forge is, but this whole charging 30 million silver for another ship in the line is just bonkers. And why decentivize getting the tier 8 ship now? It's not required for any of the gates in this project. Owning the tier 8 ship doesn't reduce the cost of acquiring this one or speed up its research time or anything. All that has happened is Ouija introduced another idea that wasn't fully thought out and actually discourages people who haven't been supporting. Is he gone? Alright, let's do something we haven't done in a while and open up the viewer mailbag. And today's letter reads, Dear Jerk, please do a video on why staying alive is important. Okay, I will, and this is it, and this is also going to be a demonstration on how to brawl with these ships. All too often, you see people, myself included, think that brawl means YOLO in and die. They brawl in destroyers, they brawl in cruisers, they brawl in battleships, and sometimes on the 29th of February, you see that odd carrier that decides they're going to brawl too, and while that can be fun, if that is all you're going for, there is a fine line between clever and stupid. Similarly, there is a fine line between having an impact on the game by taking in a ship like this to sink all the red destroyers and going in without support only to be nuked. Because if you're the designated team carrier, and for anyone who thinks their teammates are potatoes, that means you are, well, there is very little battle impact you can have from the bottom of the ocean. And that's really what we're trying to time here. I'm staying close because I want to support our friendly Daring, who is doing the Lord's work, spotting, capping, and screening, but we also know that there are a fair number of large guns on this side of the map, and torpedoes who would love nothing more than to show their father a clip of them sinking me and asking, Are you proud of me now, Dad? With Schlieffen, if you can get into a position where you can get a turn in to kite outwards while the Reds push into you, well, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. But the red team isn't really doing that this time, and we actually have a pretty decent battle going on here. And while I am tempted to just YOLO in, by staying alive, I will actually end up winning this game for the team. Now, no one is probably thinking about how I had the opportunity to go rush that Minnesota, don't you know, and the Yamato, nor at the end of the game will my teammates understand that not doing what I just wanted to do probably saved the game. But I know, and it's far more often that you look back at your choices with regret than with the acknowledgement that maybe you did the right thing. And doing the right thing was knowing when to push forward here. We got rid of the Khabarovsk, we are going to get rid of this Alaska, and we will now have control of the position on this side. And that's going to make it very, very difficult for the red team to push through over here, what with there being this Schlieffen. Probably didn't need to use both sets of torps there. Another thing you may be noticing in this game is how the ship count can be deceiving. I mean, look here. It's 5v5, and we have all the caps under in the point lead. What could possibly go wrong? Well, in short order, you will see, and I'm not accusing my teammates of throwing here at all. As I mentioned, this is actually one of the few close games that I've seen in the past couple weeks. Stick around for the second act if you want to see what they've mostly been like. But had we not followed the advice of the last of the Mohicans, whatever the cost, stay alive, I will find you. Well, then this match could have gone a much different way. Speaking of, Yamato unloads into the rocks, and there is our third ship sunk. There is still one red destroyer out there, but our teammate takes care of them, and that is going to make this a little bit easier, and this is where my Kraken sense starts tingling. We know there is a Minnesota, don't you know, right there, and they don't have the most health, so we will need to remove them and then proceed to head to the B spawn to suddenly take care of these points. And now we have a 2-on-3, and you know what, this Minnesota player has proven to be quite cognizant, so I am not going through here as much as I would love to, just straight on exposing my broadside. This Minnesota player has been showing that they know that they need to angle, so I am playing to what they have shown me, and I am angling as well. But we have a nice, lovely island, and look at that. All my man, those rocks are tricky. Y'all do understand, but Minnesota's unloaded. Now I can actually use this island right here for cover and get my turn in and proceed to chase down this Minnesota. I definitely have the health advantage. It's going to be quite difficult for that Minnesota to escape from the wrath of the secondaries. So once we get around here and get a far more steep angle coming in, I was a little concerned about not quite being turned around far enough when I get around this corner, but we are going to have a very decent angle for this Minnesota, so that's why you kind of see me fiddling with the rudder, and the speed is because I need to come in just about as steep as possible for the salvo that I know is coming right here, and we'll take that. That's not too shabby, and that's really it for the Minnesota at this point. So I feel like we should turn on the radio and really capture what's going on in my head right now. Let's see. Do we have any German industrial music? All right, it's 1v1 time against a Pommern. I'm feeling pretty good. Pommern has to come to me, and chasing a Schlieffen, as I already mentioned, is a terrorizing prospect. So we'll get this shot off here, and then we will just proceed to turn out and let this Pommern chase us and laugh all the way to the bank. But didn't I mention that the turning on this was a little bit sluggish? So, actually gonna run into the ground here, but I think we have a steep enough angle that it won't matter. Look at these secondaries chewing this Pommern up. Plus, I mean, let's be real, these 420s, they hit like a truck too. We're gonna take the salvo right here. Not that bad. We have a heal, and let's just watch the rest of this and enjoy Kraken 465 in the Schlieffen. All right, let's see the scoreboard, and it says 2,659 XP with the reduced secondary XP earned. So I'm going to call that a very good game because we got a high caliber and a Confederate well, and look, the entire red team over 1,000 XP in a loss. That is the kind of match you want to have, but how about the kind of match you don't want to have? Well, the first kind of match that I don't want to have is an Epicenter match, but that's not because I think the game mode is particularly bad. It's just that they tend to be massive blowouts, because whether it's people don't know how to play this game mode or what, I can't think of a single time that I've ever had a match of Epicenter that I'm like, wow, that was fun. I'm glad I played Epicenter and this wasn't any other game mode. Now, what usually happens in Epicenter is one team either all runs into the center, gets surrounded and loses, or gives up the cap and loses. I'm not saying this was a predestined match that was going to happen, but it looks like this is a scheduled loss. The Red Destroyers, for their part, they try to do their thing, but they have absolutely zero support, and the red team makes no real effort to really control the flanks either, and as such, this is going to get ugly rather quickly. For those of you who have been around a while, I once upon a time did a video in the Bismarck that showcased the route that I like to take on this map. And that is specifically when I'm in a brawling battleship. And one of the benefits that we have here is that this map does tend to play the same all the time. That is that island on my left. The destroyers on the red team, or on the south side, tend to all cluster there. And in this situation, with the Schlieffen, I do have my water radar, so I feel certain that I can get to a point where I will be able to spot them, my teammates will deal with it, and surely right here everybody sees my plan of attack. We're going to try and take out these cruisers on the right. We have an estimate that there are 2 cruisers and this Groza Kurfürst. We know that there's a destroyer on the center of the map, and there goes their other one. So there is only a Shimakaze left, who is in a division, I believe, with the Stalingrad. So I have a good idea of where everybody's support is, and that is to say, nowhere to be able to save this Shima. I am spotted right here, so I know the Shima's got me spotted from that smoke, so I'm just gonna pump my brakes a little bit and wait a second for them to put out any torps for them to go by. I don't know that they did, but I've gone ahead and put on my hydro because this is gonna allow me to do what I want to do, which is turn towards the Shima after we get a shot off right here. Turn towards the Shima and push them out of their smoke. I've got protective torps right down there, so the Groza Kurfürst can't push me too hard when I make this turn. But right now the Shima's caught in our water radar, so I'm going to chase them down. I don't think they're going to be able to get away, and as a secondary precaution, we will go ahead and drop a set of torps for this GK in case, you know, they get any ideas, and guess what? They will. So my secondaries are focusing the Shimakaze, and we're going to go ahead and shoot them with our main guns. And chipping them down, and I think we're going to sink them pretty soon. Right about here with this rear turret, I believe. Yes. There goes one, there goes the other, and if you didn't see it, we just got a double strike right there. We ended up catching the Groza Kurfürst, and that's it, right? The game has been decided, and we are only 4 minutes into the match. So what do we get to do here? Well, the red team has essentially given up the map entirely, so we get to try and do some trick shots. I'm thinking about reversing backwards to go and try and get these 2 cruisers, but I'm like, you know what? Let's do something. There's only 5 ships left. I'm not thinking that I'm going to get a crack in this match because I had just gotten the other one fairly recently. But as it turns out, you know, I've started to slow down and think about it, and I'm like, okay, we have this main here. Let's see if we can get a pretty decent shot on them once we get our motion going forward. We do have 2 ships over to the right, so that's potential 2 ships right there, and we have 3 ships in front of us. So if we play this right, we might be able to do something. And now that I've got a little momentum going forward, we can go ahead and take this shot. Well, we're getting secondaries off there. Take the shot right there. And we're going to see some pretty decent hits from these 420 millimeter guns. I think we get 1 Citadel, if I remember correctly. Yeah, pretty decent salvo right there. But now the Stalingrad's in trouble. And I'm going to focus it with my secondaries. And we are going to try and do something special. Yes, there we go. We're going to focus that and get our guns turned to the main because they're in some pain. So let's get this salvo off there. That one's looking good. And now you will see why I call this the in and out match. A double strike. First time I've ever been able to do that. But do you think we could go for the triple double? Turn this into a basketball game? That's what I'm looking at now. Meanwhile, this the Republic back at the back's just going to shoot at me. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing else for them to shoot, or maybe they just want to shoot the shiny boat. But I didn't care at this point. I was just having a good time trying to wrap up all these ships. Don't quite get the Minotaur right there, and I believe my teammates are going to smash them momentarily. And at that point, I was like, well, I guess I'll just have to go for the Kraken. Yes, reside ourselves to the Kraken here. And that's what we're going to do while this Republic continues to shoot me from behind, which, whatever, that's fine. I mean, they got to get some damage somewhere, and looking on the map, I'm not sure. Let's see, destroyers weren't spotted, so yeah, I'm probably the only thing that's spotted right there. Worcester, you know, doing what they could to just hide in the smoke for as long as they can, I guess. But yeah, there we are. And one thing about the Wusta, we can go over the belt because it's pretty weak up there. So I'm getting my guns turned around, and we will shoot over the belt into the side and pick up another Kraken. So, I mean, that's pretty much this match, right? We are going to cap out on points, and now let's check out the XP in this match. And this is why I'm saying this is the kind of match you don't want to have. But okay, let's see the scoreboard. 2,311 for first place, but was it a good game? Not really. I've said it on stream and I'll say it here. If you're not getting 1,000 XP in a loss, that is a really bad game. And well, it is a team game, and as such, you shouldn't really put all of this on one person. I will say you gotta be able to read what's happening. You can't have an entire team of people kiting. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you will be going full secondary Schlieffen in 3 months, give this video a like. If you will be going full torpedo Schlieffen, give it a dislike. Questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you want to be here for whoever we have on next, think about hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I will get back out there for another one, and we will talk then.